All right, guys, for your asynchronous work, Tuesday, September 8th, you're going to do a couple of things, but the main feature is studying similes in chapter 6. All right, so you're going to want to find your unreliable narrator anchor chart and just add a row using a quote from chapter 6. Make sure you read or review chapter 7. And then for the most important part, you're going to make a copy of the simile in the Lightning Thief chapter 6 work, move that copy into your shared folder, complete the work, and then, of course, turn it in. So I already made a copy for myself, and I made sure to include my name, and then, of course, I moved it to my ELA folder. Now, for this document, it's going to tell you that you should complete the table for your choice of 2 similes. You'll see that there are 4 options. You only need to choose how many? Yes, 2. Then at the bottom, you'll respond to 2 more selected response questions. Selected response, of course, being multiple choice. Now, for each simile, you're going to have to, or for each quotation, you're going to underline the simile, highlight the 2 things being compared, then give an explanation and an interpretation. Okay, so let's do one together. The pair of cabins at the head of the field, numbers 1 and 2, looked like his and hers mausoleums, big white marble boxes with heavy columns in front. Cabin 1 was the biggest and bulkiest of the 12. Its polished bronze doors shimmered like a hologram, so that from different angles, lightning bolts seemed to streak across them. So there's 2 similes in this quote, but I'm going to focus on the first one as an example. Here's the simile. The pair of cabins at the head of the field, numbers 1 and 2, looked like his and hers mausoleum. So I'm going to underline the simile, and then I'm going to highlight the 2 things being compared. In this simile, the pair of cabins is being compared to his and hers mausoleums. Now, what does this say? I know that mausoleums, whoops, spelled that all the way wrong. Mausoleums are usually very large and grand tombs built for important people. I know that cabins at camp are typically made of wood and fairly shabby and simple. This might mean that these cabins are not going to be anything like what we would expect at a typical camp. Now, for my interpretation, given that the cabins are quite different from what we would expect at camp, we can venture to guess that this entire experience will be far removed from typical experience. Now, that's a very general and broad interpretation just for the sake of time, because I can only make a 5-minute video with my version of Screencastify. I hope that you will take the time and take the positive risk of trying to give a deeper interpretation. Remember, when we make mistakes, we can correct them and we have an opportunity to learn. And you never know. Guys, it's literature. Try your best to interpret. You might be onto a really interesting idea. Of course, once you've done your explanation and your interpretation for 2 of these similes, you will copy your link, boop, 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 back over to the document or back over to your assignment, click submit. You can turn it in as a text entry or a website URL. Bam, click submit assignment, and you are on your way. Whee! Fantastic job.